You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Coming up, the Lamar police investigate a mysterious death.
And a 500-pound tortoise who escaped a Kansas zoo returns home.
And we have thunderstorm chances that'll be building in later today. We're going to talk all about those storm chances and what it's going to do to temperatures, at least, briefly, coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us for the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. A mystery in Lamar, Missouri, where police are investigating the death of a 36-year-old woman. Authorities responded to a home on the 1100 block of Allen Street just before 3 a.m. That's where they found the victim and rushed her to the hospital, where she later died. An autopsy is scheduled for today in Springfield. An update to a story we brought you last week. Carthage police on Friday responded to a call about a 3-year-old who was found unresponsive in a hot vehicle. The child was taken to a hospital in Springfield, where she later died. Authorities say the child got into the car on her own and could not get out. Police have submitted their investigation to the prosecutor, who will determine if charges will be filed. A Kids Count study shows between 2016 and 2020, the number of children ages 3 through 17 who reported mental health issues rose by 26%. That adds up to more than 1.5 million children. So as students return back to school counselor at Joplin High says it is important to remind them to check in with you and protect their mental health, as well as looking at other factors.
Are you getting between 7 and 10 hours of good sleep? And are you using technology in the middle of the night or late into the evening? All of that affects how our brain works and how it functions during the day when we're awake. And so once again, we do talk about the importance of a routine regarding sleep and getting good sleep at night.
Hancock also says students should not hesitate to reach out to parents, teachers, and school counselors when they need help. A Coffeyville resident receives an unconventional type of smoke detector. The Kansas State Fire Marshal's office Get Alarmed Kansas program offers smoke detectors for hearing impaired or deaf residents. Smoke alarms go first to Kansas fire departments, and then the departments schedule a time to install the devices. To be eligible, you must be a resident of Kansas and approved by a certified professional.
So what happens is if typically a smoke alarm would go off, this alarm will go off, but it'll make a loud sound, but also an LED flashing strobe. So that way the hearing impaired individual or the deaf individual, if they're in a state of not deep sleep, they'll be awakened.
Hearing impaired smoke detectors run around $65 to $200 if you purchase them online. One Joplin LGBTQ organization is making an effort to create a safe space for teens and young adults returning to school. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has more.
JOMO Equality is hosting a free back-to-school pride skate. LGBTQ teens, young adults, and allies can skate free at Skateland in Webb City.
To just come and have fun and to realize that they have support. We're always here. We're always available, and everybody has family when you're with us.
Educating the public is one of their goals.
Safe spot for anybody where we can educate and we can support each other, come together, have fun events like tonight.
Events like this gives younger LGBTQ plus community members a chance to interact with like-minded individuals, building a support system, and easing anxiety.
With somebody skating in an environment where you feel safe and you know there are people there who aren't going to look at you differently. It's just very, very affirming, very safe.
Having an established support system before the first day of school gives students an outlet that understands their plight.
Very accepting family, but I have a lot of people who did not at all. There's a lot of tragic stories out there, and I think having a community makes you feel a lot less alone.
Reporting in Webb City, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
To reach out to JOMO Equality, go to KOAMnewsnow.com. For rich NBA fans of Michael Jordan, it's a last chance to snag an icon of Michael's last dance. Jordan's Chicago Bulls jersey, worn in Game 1 of the 1998 NBA Finals, is going under the Sotheby's auction gavel next month. It may take opening the bank vault to buy it. Sotheby's is listing the jersey to sell between $3 and $5 million. Ouch. Those NBA finals were popularized in a recent ESPN documentary called The Last Dance. Jordan won his last chance for a 6th NBA ring against the Utah Jazz.
That is an incredible amount of money that, unfortunately, I just checked my wallet. I do not have handy. So I'm going to have to skip this particular auction this time.
Yeah,
but it would still be cool
put
to
under
have.
a glass frame and hang it on the wall.
Yeah, and that's the thing, though. What do you do with it?
Well, you don't wear it.
You just
what if
hang
you
it up.
spilled ketchup? What if you spilled mustard or something on it?
That would not be good. You would ruin that jersey and its value very rapidly.
$1 million spill.
Oh my gosh, yeah, no kidding. And here's the deal, you know, they're listing at $1 to $3 million. There's some diehard fans out there with some deep pockets that could go higher than that. So, yeah, that's an expensive jersey. I mean, thankfully the ones that you get for the kids when they're in basketball.
So who owns that jersey right now? That's my question.
Well, if it's going to auction, that's an excellent question. I wonder who's held on to it. Maybe the team held on to it?
It was Jordan's jersey, so, but he's kicking himself if he got rid of it.
I wonder if it's anything like, like in movies, the costumes and stuff that you wear in movies, they're the property of the movie studio. Because the movie studio paid for them. The movie studio funded the money to have them made and everything like that, so you don't typically get to keep them. And then they end up going up for
How do you know
auction.
that this one was actually that jersey? Like, there's so many of them that were made,
Because they said so, and so that's supposed to be good enough.
Right.
They said it's authentic. They said
So he got a new jersey for each game, too. Okay.
I mean, he was Michael Jordan. He is Michael Jordan, so I mean,
He
I
grew
can
out
see
of it
that.
pretty quickly. Yeah.
I can see that. That's a possibility. That is a strong possibility. Hey, on this day in weather history, back, and this is a long time ago, 1559, the first hurricane in recorded U.S. history hit what would be Pensacola, Florida, where 5 Spanish ships were driven ashore in the harbor. Hurricanes have been kind of the theme this week in our day in history. There's been a lot of hurricane activity historically, but not right now, which is a good thing. All right, taking a look up to our north, you see this big span. That's a low pressure system that's bringing us our storm chances. And you can see it's got this big tail. It goes all the way down now into northern Kansas. Now, locally, we don't have anything happening on the Skywatch storm tracker. But if we head out to the west and northwest, you can see those storms along and north of I-70 getting started, and they'll eventually make their way into our area. And some of those may be on the strong side. So, very low tornado risk. Not really much of a risk there at all, but any of these isolated strong storms that we see could pose a hail or wind risk, and again, mostly for our northern counties. 7th and range line, the sun is glowing. It is beautiful. It looks quite nice out there. 65 degrees as we start the day. All of us starting in about the mid-60s now. 65 Fort Scott, 64 in Pittsburgh, 62 in Miami, and 62 in Anderson. As we go through the day, it will heat up. We're talking highs in the lower 90s, and then those scattered storms build into our northern counties by 5 o'clock. And we'll have a few more scattered storms across the area through the evening, and then they'll break up early tomorrow morning, very early, with overnight lows in the mid-60s, and then they return Saturday evening with decent storm chances. 96 for the high in between those rain chances, 84 on Sunday. It's not a complete washout, but you definitely want to keep the Skywatch weather app handy so you can keep an eye on any storms that do develop. We're going to take a look at the future track, the timing of some of these storms, and the 7-day forecast a little bit later.
Up next, how one vet clinic is saving pets with prosthetics.
And later, an Eagle Scout makes memory boards for seniors. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
In Health Watch this morning, saving animals with prosthetics, a new age kind of rescue. A team trained at Thomas Jefferson University is helping all kinds of animals with injuries and birth defects. Stephanie Stahl has more from Philadelphia.
He's my best friend. We pretty much do everything together.
Lydia Mindeck says her dog Trip is able to do everything now thanks to his new prosthetic leg.
For a dog who's never been able to walk on his own before, it's a really big deal.
Tripp, who was born with deformities, was saved from being euthanized by Lydia, who knew exactly who could help.
We always knew we wanted to solve meaningful problems.
Adam Hecht and Alex Thal met Lydia when they were all studying industrial design at Thomas Jefferson University. Alex and Adam went on to create Dive Design that makes prosthetics for all kinds of animals, including this tortoise, who now has wheels replacing his missing front legs.
It's not necessarily because we absolutely love animals and we absolutely love prosthetics, it's just we enjoy solving really great problems.
Like Waddles, the pet duck, who's walking normally for the first time with their invention. And there's a pig whose missing legs have been replaced by wheels, plus Bo, the goat, who has a helmet to protect a missing part of his skull.
So he definitely needed the helmet. I mean, he was headbutting everything.
Adam and Alex make the animal prosthetics using computer technology they created with specialized 3D printing technology.
It's the combination of technologies that really make a difference.
This is Django, born with deformed hind legs that made moving difficult, here outfitted with prosthetic wheels that function like back legs.
He's going in circles around you.
This has just been an amazing journey for us, helping so many animals and people and families. You almost become speechless because of how wonderful it is.
Stephanie Stahl, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Adam and Alex also help other companies who create bionic parts for animals. Orphaned bear cubs get a health check and a new habitat. 3 bear cubs in the care of the San Diego Humane Society get a wellness check and pass with flying colors. Now the bears can live in a new enclosure, which will allow them to grow, play, and learn to be wild bears together. Each baby bear was rescued and will be released back into the wild when they're ready and prove they can survive on their own.
That's pretty impressive.
Aww.
They're pretty cute too when they're
babies. And then he's going to ask, who's been sleeping in my bed?
Yeah, he is. They're going to take him out of that bed. He's going to come back and he's going to wonder who was there.
Yeah.
Who was there?
Who's been eating my medicine porridge?
My medicinal porridge has been consumed. I think this is a very prim and proper bear.
Yeah.
He looks like he should have a top hat and a monocle. Maybe he will.
He looks like he's sleeping.
Well, okay, I mean, I don't mean right now. I mean when he's back out in the wild. I hope he's sleeping because it could be kind of dangerous to work with a bear, baby or not. So we have some storms coming. We do indeed. So this is noon. You can see some cloud cover building into the northern counties. We really warm up today. We're talking highs in the lower 90s. And then by 5, you see a few more scattered storms in our northern counties. Now, you can also see where they kind of break up as they try and move southeast. It's not until late tonight that we may get a few other scattered storms outside of our northern counties. And then we get a break tomorrow, and that's going to allow us to warm back up into the mid-90s for afternoon highs. And then, as you can see, by the time we get into the evening, more showers and thunderstorms begin to develop. So on the 7-day for today, lower 90s for highs, and then some evening storms, again, mostly in our northern counties. Break on Saturday before they return Saturday evening, 96 for the high, 84 on Sunday, with showers and thunderstorms in the first part of the day, and they should clear out by the afternoon. And then we really start to warm up as we head through the rest of the week with highs pushing close to 100 by Wednesday. The only reprieve from all that heat is these overnight lows. At least they stay pretty decent considering how warm it's going to get. Our warmest overnight low Wednesday into Thursday at 70 degrees. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 coming right up. Well, you might think Rocket is a funny name for a slow-moving tortoise, but the 90-year-old 500-pounder is a master escape artist who's broken out of enclosures at 2 different zoos. As Eli Higgins reports, the massive reptile finally has a new home where he can't roam.
This is Rocket, one of the first animals ever at the Sedgwick County Zoo when it opened in the early 70s. Bringing smiles to faces for decades. But nearly 40 years later, in 2009, the more than 500-pound tortoise realized how big he was and became an escape artist.
Just to give you an idea how massive this guy is, take a look at this. If I curled up into a ball next to him, he would be at least 2 or 3 times my size. Now, this is not something you want stepping on your toes.
He actually attained a length that could span the length of the bars. He could get his legs over the edge of this and just walk right down.
Nate Nelson was Rocket's handler back in 2009. He says when he would escape, it was impossible to lift him back up, so it would take hours to walk him all the way around and back up to his exhibit. That's when Nelson made the tough decision to send him off to a better home.
It was difficult because he's always been a zoo favorite here, both the keepers and the public, but he was just too big for that indoor exhibit any longer.
Nelson shipped Rocket off to Tulsa. That's where his new handler, Chris Williams, first met him, but it didn't last long.
We had the same problem where he escaped there multiple times.
So it was off to max security for the 90-year-old tortoise, a brand new, state-of-the-art exhibit at the Bronx Zoo. But finally, more than a decade later, with an escape-proof area to live, Rocket is home.
We did get to open a new giant tortoise exhibit for Galapagos tortoises, and it's much more secure here.
Nelson says while he's pretty sure it's one-sided, he's glad he gets to spend every day again with one of his oldest friends.
I don't think he recognizes me, but it's hard to say. You know, you can't. They don't really have any facial features.
Additionally, Rocket's new habit does not have an indoor viewing area, so once winter comes to Kansas, giant tortoise fans will have to wait until it warms up to see him again. Skywatch Storm Tracker shows that big swirling area over Minnesota, and that is a low pressure system with a trailing line of storms, and that's an associated front. That's going to bring us some storm chances. Now, locally, in our immediate area, nothing yet, but that's going to change. So we look out into Kansas from Hays eastward along the I-70 corridor and points north, showers and thunderstorms starting to develop. Now, a few of our northern counties may see some stronger storms if these materialize. Hail and wind are the main risks with these, but they should be fairly isolated. Right now, 7th and range line, the skies are clear. It looks quite nice outside. 65 as we start our day in Joplin, and most of us are starting in the 60s. 65 Yates Center, 63 in Fredonia, 63 in Welch, and 63 in Neosho to start the day. So not a bad start for August. All of us are going to get to highs in the lower to mid 90s later this afternoon, so it's going to be a hot one. Scattered storms start building into our northern counties this evening around 5 o'clock, and then they'll try and spread southeastward as the night progresses, which we'll talk about in just a moment. 68 tonight at 11, 66 overnight lows, so not bad. Any scattered storms start to clear out about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. As we head into the weekend, the storm chances increase Saturday evening, and then they'll clear out of here by Sunday afternoon. So Saturday, in between morning and evening storms, we heat up to 96 degrees. It's pretty toasty. And then 84 on Sunday. The good news is they're scattered storms, so not a complete washout. Now, quick look at this future track. This is this evening. You see these storms start to build into our northern counties. You also see them start to die off as they try to head southeast. Then we get a few overnight that try and hang on down in our area. We start to clear out through the day tomorrow, which allows us to really heat up. And then by the evening, you see more scattered shower and thunderstorms building into the area. 7-day forecast shows those thunderstorm chances with a high in the low 90s again today. We'll get a brief break, and then by next week, we start heading highs near 100 again. More of the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 coming up.
It's time to honor today's four-state hero, Floyd Lyerla. Lieutenant Colonel Lyerla served in the Navy from 1946 to 1949, and then in the Army from 1950 to 1970. He served in Korea, Vietnam, and stateside. During his service, he served with the 7th Infantry Division, the 11th Air Assault Division, and the 1st Cavalry Division. He was an air assault pioneer and a part of the 1st Air Cavalry Division liaison party to go to South Korea. Native of Crestline, Kansas, we thank you, today's four-state hero, Floyd Lyerla.
Well, a Boy Scout troop in Kentucky is unlocking entertainment for residents of a senior living community.
The Eagle Scout Project is also stimulating their minds and sharpening their physical dexterity. Even Evan Leake spoke with the brains behind the project.
Can you unlock that? You got yours locked, Donnie?
Unlocking entertainment.
Can you twist it? There you go.
Tightly fastening their focus.
We want to keep them, not just their bodies active, but their minds as well.
A task these busy boards complete tenfold for residents at Dominican Senior Living.
Sometimes they don't know what to do, so these boards just laying around in different areas, it kind of engages them.
Simply pieces of wood adorned with engaging challenges, testing and sharpening the residents' dexterity and cognitive skills. The mind behind these busy boards? Curtis Relich, a proud member of Boy Scouts Troop 73. The boards were born out of Curtis needing to find a project to help him rise to Eagle Scout rank. And his first thought was to help the senior community.
I knew I wanted to help them out because there's a disconnect, and often they're just not as really thought about, and I don't really like that. So I wanted to do something that would help that community.
So Curtis reached out to leaders at Dominion, and the idea of the busy boards took shape, and maybe bring back a few memories of when they lived on their own.
Anything they could do, I could give them to remind them of kind of like the house. So there'll be a lot of door locks and other things on those. I like the latch, the door latches and things. Watching them use them, that's something that I really liked. So I was really happy that worked out.
These boards go beyond a little bit of fun or even the health benefits. They're building a connection, just like Curtis wanted, forming a bridge between young and old.
It's such a comforting feeling knowing that our younger generation is thinking about not just other people, but our older generation, to give back to that generation, to let them know that they're still, they're not forgotten about.
It makes me so happy, like to be able to help these people like this, because it's what I like a year ago was thinking about doing, and everything's like played out really awesome.
Everything clicking into place to keep these seniors pretty busy, far from bored, and never forgotten.
Certainly an absolutely useful project, and something that, honestly, I think anybody could use those just to keep your mind active.
I think it's awesome that the Scouts are thinking about the seniors and, are working with them and chose them to do their Eagle Scout project with.
Absolutely.
Pretty cool. Well, another half hour of news and weather is just ahead, coming up on the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Our very own Shannon Becker stepping into the studio to talk about the big 3 stories of the week.
And Apple recommends that its users update their software immediately. We'll explain why. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:31. Let's take a look at today's top stories. A mystery in Lamar, Missouri, where police are investigating the death of a 36-year-old woman. Authorities responded to a home on the 1100 block of Allen Street just before 3 a.m., and that's where they found the victim and rushed her to the hospital where she died. An autopsy is scheduled for today in Springfield. And an update to a story we brought you last week. Carthage police on Friday responded to a call about a 3-year-old who was found unresponsive in a hot vehicle. The child was taken to a hospital in Springfield, where she later died. Authorities say the child had got into the car on her own and could not get out. Police have submitted their investigation to the prosecutor, who will determine if charges will be filed. When it comes to things burning, the last thing you usually think of is, well, cheese. At about 1 o'clock on Thursday afternoon, there were reports of a tractor trailer on fire on I-44 East near mile marker 23. Carthage Fire, Sarcoxy Rural Fire, Mercy EMS, and Jasper County deputies responded. Missouri Highway Patrol was also notified. And authorities say the driver noticed smoke in his rearview mirror, pulled over, and used his extinguisher, used all of it up, trying to put out the flames. The driver proceeded to unhook the semi and pull forward to safety. However, that's when the trailer was consumed by fire. 43,000 pounds of cheese burned. It was a total loss. 2 local Pittsburgh companies start a partnership with Pittsburgh State University. The local companies are CDL Electric and Miller's Professional Imaging. They're gaining workforce from the partnership. And meanwhile, PSU students will gain some real-life work experience. The program awards the students scholarships and pays them wages. CDL Electric's Stacy Butcher is ready to get new workers in.
We're looking for some kids that just want to come in and work hard, and if they show us those traits, we're going to help them magnify their abilities and things like that.
Classes at Pittsburgh State University start next Monday. Butcher says some students have already reached out to them. What Kids Count study shows the number of children with mental health issues is on the rise. KOAM's Shagun Bamadeli has more on the story.
As students return back to school for a new school year, a school counselor at Joplin I says it is important to remind students to check in and protect their mental health.
There are several resources in mental health available in the Joplin area if parents are concerned that students are having a significant crisis in mental health. And school counselors can be a resource that parents can contact to point them to that extra help.
Students know a lot goes into mental health.
I would say that managing your mental health while away from home and away from your comfort zones is really, really important, because if you're not good in the head, for lack of a better word, a lot can go wrong in terms of your physical well-being goes down, your spiritual, financial well-being could even be impacted because you will stop going to work. And it can build up over time and create a load more problems.
As students begin to move into Missouri Southern State University for the new school year, I spoke to the lead counselor and therapist for MSSU, and she tells me steps that students can take to protect their mental health during the school year.
To find a routine that works for them, so focus on time management and get plenty of rest, sleep, eat well, find things that they can connect with, be that people in their dorms or people in their classes, or get involved on campus and know what their resources are.
In Joplin, Shagubam Dele, KOAM News.
Both counselors say students should not hesitate to reach out to parents, teachers, and school counselors when they need help. Well, an 8-year-old boy in Wisconsin is making headlines. We brought you this story yesterday, but you know what? He's so cute we had to bring him back again today. All because of his luscious locks, and now he has advanced to the top 25 for the best mullet in the kids division of the USA Mullet Championship. His new do earned him the nickname Mufasa during wrestling season because coaches and fellow wrestlers said it looked like a lion's mane. These days, most people know him as Mullet Boy because of his growing fame. His dad says the online contest started with about 1,500 entries, and Emmett has advanced to the top 25. Now, since word of Emmett's fantastic follicles got out, he's been invited to throw out the first pitch at a college baseball game. Pretty cool. He also shot a video with the local police there in Wisconsin where he was arrested for having too much party in the back. Yeah, I like that.
I don't have too much party in the back.
I have to share a mullet story that I have from Monday. Okay, so I went to the back to school haircuts event on Monday, and I overheard there was some cute little boys. There was 3 of them sitting together, and one of them was, I think he was trying to tell his little brother to behave, and so he told him, he referred to his older brother. I don't remember what he said his name was. We'll just call him Johnny. He goes, well, Johnny hasn't been behaving. He's been in trouble, so he's getting his mullet cut off today. It was the cutest thing.
That's the way to punish.
Just so you know, after their haircuts were done, they still had 3 beautiful mullets.
Oh, okay. So Johnny might have been telling us that his brother was getting in trouble, but
he was trying to get his little brother to behave.
Yeah. See, and I've had to do that, not necessarily with mullets, but I've had to, like with the youngest. But if you don't knock this off, you're not getting any ice cream. The thing is he's 5 and he knows how to break your heart. And if you tell him he's not getting his ice cream, he just stands there and he looks at you and he just goes, ah! He just breaks down right there, and it takes 5 solid minutes to console the poor thing. I mean, you would have thought you just ended his world.
Chris, if you do that to me, it's not going to work.
So, hold on. So if you tell me no, I can't just look at you. If I make the same face at him, like
you have to get the bigger eye. Make your eyes bigger.
I'll make that face to him. Like, he'll be like, you're rude, Dad, because he's got this little attitude, and I'll just look at him and do. And then he breaks down. He sees my face and loses it, and then I feel really bad. So I'm just like, the poor thing. I love him to death, though. But boy, he's interesting. We got some storm chances coming in later today. It's thanks to this. This is a low-pressure system in Minnesota. Now, locally, we don't have anything in our immediate area. These little patches here are not actually happening. But if you look out to the northwest, along and north of the I-70 corridor, all the way out to Hayes, We got some scattered thunderstorms developing. Now, with these storms, there is a chance that some of them may get a little unruly, mainly in our northern counties. It's an isolated risk, but if it happens, hail and wind are the primary threats with any of those storms that decide that, they want to be a little mean to us. Right now, though, take a look at this sky at 7th and Rangeline. Absolutely beautiful. Sunny and clear, 65 in Joplin. We're all starting the day pretty nice. We got 65 Yates Center, 63 in Fredonia, 63 in Nowata, 64 Columbus, and 62 in Anderson. So not a bad start to an August day. And that's the thing, it's still August. Our 7-day will remind us of that. So as we go through today, afternoon highs in the lower 90s, maybe some mid 90s, 87 by 5 with those thunderstorms building into our northwestern counties. Going into tonight, a few more scattered thunderstorms, and they'll clear out early tomorrow morning, leaving us with 66 as an overnight low, and they return Saturday evening. So they clear out long enough for us to reach 96 Saturday, 84 Sunday with these scattered storm chances. But that's the nice thing, is they're scattered, so it's not a complete washout over the weekend. 5 o'clock tonight, you see those storms in northern counties. They try and push south and east, but they just don't make it. And then overnight, a few more get going, and they clear out. And then it's not until tomorrow afternoon and evening that we just start to see more thunderstorm chances begin to develop across the area. And on the 7 days, this is what I was talking about. August says, oh, hey, by the way, I'm still around because we hit highs pushing 100 by the middle of next week. We got more of the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 coming right at you.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Shannon Becker is joining us again this Friday, and that means it's time for another look at our big 3 stories of the week.
Yeah, they also kind of happen to be the big headlines too. They're kind of crazy, most shared, most talked about stories online that a lot of them we're at live. So we get that footage and stuff, get the real story.
Especially you.
Number 3 this week, Joplin News First. This is a woman who's awaiting trial for the murder of her husband in Missouri. It happened in Anderson, November of last year. And as she was awaiting trial, a judge in McDonald County let her out on a really low bond, not even an ankle monitor. So she's staying with her mother in Pea Ridge, Arkansas. Well, she left a note last week and said, I'm going to kill myself, and then she left. Well, judge really didn't believe it, so they've issued a warrant for her arrest, and U.S. Marshals are searching for her. She is known to law enforcement in McDonald County, could be in the Joplin area or northeast Oklahoma. Her name is Dawn Wynn. Read more at KOAM News Now. Our number 2 story, tragedy strikes Carthage, Missouri. A child, 3-year-old girl, let herself into a vehicle and then couldn't get out of the car. She's the 16th hot car death this year. Since she passed away on Saturday, there's another hot car death. We're up to number 18. It happened in Fort Smith, Arkansas on Monday. There's talk of legislation and changing the way new cars are made. There'll be some kind of alarms. More on our website. Our number 1 story, it's a cheesy one. I'm a grandpa, I'm a dad. I've been trying to think of a lot of cheese jokes, but I'm coming up dry here. 43,000 pounds of cheese burned on I-44 yesterday. A driver saw smoke in his rearview mirror, hopped out, mile marker 23, used up all his extinguisher, and then, the smart move, unhooked the trailer, pulled forward to safety. So driver was not injured, nobody was injured, but someone's pocketbook was injured. I'll tell you, 43,000 pounds of cheese. I don't know what the estimated load was.
The only thing that survived, though, I did hear the smoked Gouda was okay.
I don't know about that. I was stepping all over it. I was really kind of concerned. I was like, am I getting cheese on my bowling shoes? My shoes. So anyway, M&M Record cleaned all that up. It took about 4 hours. Traffic was, I'm not kidding, bumper to bumper for 5 miles if you were going east on I-44. If you were there, you know what I'm talking about.
You know how hard it is to get burnt cheese off your stove?
See, look, she's still out.
Yeah.
All right, our bonus story of the week. This is awesome. Big Cedar Lodge, they have expanded their Thunder Ridge Arena. It used to have like 10,000 seats. Now it'll have 50,000 seats. Garth Brooks will be the first concert. We've got pictures of it. It's going to be really amazing. Tickets are on sale 1 week from this morning. The link is on our KOAM News Now website. And then also, the tickets are next Friday. The concert is October 1st. And he'll be the first big concert there. It's really, really neat. Bass Pro Shops founder Johnny Morris is building it. It's part of the Top of the Rock Golf Course and Big Cedar Lodge.
Thunder Ridge Arena?
Thunder Ridge Outdoor Nature Arena, I think is the whole full name.
So he should make his first song, The Thunder Rolls.
Oh, there you go. Cool. Why aren't you in marketing? Look at her. She just, She wonders too. It's your big 3. Big Friday.
All right. Well, yeah, Big Friday. Hope you have a wonderful weekend.
You as well.
Good luck getting those tickets.
All right.
All right. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch this morning, Apple is warning users of most of its devices to update their software immediately. The tech giant warns of a vulnerability that could potentially allow attackers to take complete control of iPhones, iPads, and Mac computers. Apple isn't saying how the vulnerabilities were discovered. We'll be right back with more after this, but first let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
School in Salt Lake City, Utah is making history. Utah Schools for the Deaf and Blind has a new football team, and it's a field of dreams for many of the students participating. Shelby Lofton reports.
Blocking, tackling, catching.
It's the basic skills of football. The players on this team use their hands more than most.
We have the players who are using signs. So we have that. We have our own communication rather than spoken language.
These athletes are deaf or hard of hearing, so playing a team sport isn't something they take for granted. In fact, it's something students have asked for.
When students come to you and say, I want something, you want so badly to give it to them. You want so badly for them to have it. And for this year to say, you got it. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm excited for them.
These 80 yards of grass are a field of dreams for athletes with a communication barrier.
I wanted to be part of football. It's my favorite sport. I watch it all the time. I've always wanted to play.
This sophomore plays alongside 7 teammates. His coach says the game is the same for everyone.
We're just having to look at the ball. Once that snap is hit, we're ready to go.
Coach Tingley says win or lose, he wants the students to learn about themselves and connect more with the community.
Develop connections with other people who are deaf or hard of hearing.
They'll travel to schools around Utah. The dream is to play against other schools for the deaf across the country.
The game itself is still the same. Whether you're deaf, hard of hearing, or if you are a hearing individual that can speak, it's still just a game.
Are they ready for their first game?
Somewhat.
Incredible story. Now, so far, there's 8 players on the team, including 1 female. They're trying to recruit more. The team's first game is on September 3rd. I have no doubt that they're going to go out there and just sweep the field. We take a look at the Skywatch storm tracker, that big spinning massive rain in Minnesota. That is a low pressure system with a trailing front. That's going to bring us some thunderstorm chances later today and through the weekend. Now, right now, locally, nothing on the Skywatch storm tracker, but if we head out to the west, right along I-70, out toward Hayes and now even further west, we got more thunderstorms starting to develop, and they'll eventually make their way down here. Now, a few of those for our northern counties may be a bit on the strong side. Now, if they do get a little ugly, hail and wind are the primary threats, but this will be pretty isolated. 7th and Rangeline in Joplin, though, clear as the take a look. You can see pretty far. It's nice, clear, sunny, 65 as we start our day. And we are starting in the 60s, 64 in Sedan, 65 Independence, 63 in Welch, and 64 in Monette. A nice start to an August day. Now, it is going to warm up. We're talking highs in the low to mid 90s for most of us. And then around 5 o'clock this evening, as temperatures slowly drop off, some of those scattered storms start making their way into our northern counties. And then they'll try and sweep southeast with a few more scattered showers, with temperatures dropping into the mid-60s as we head through the night and into the weekend. We get a break Saturday, so we warm up to about 96, and then storms return Saturday evening. And they're scattered still, and they'll clear out by Sunday afternoon with a high of only 84 degrees. And a quick look at the 7-day forecast shows after this batch of rain, August reminds us that it is still August. And we look at temperatures pushing near 100 by Wednesday with some at least decent overnight lows. The good news about the weekend storms, they're scattered, so not a complete washout, but keep the Skywatch weather app handy for any storms that do develop in your area. More of the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 after this. All right, so as we go through the day, quick look at the future track. Some partly cloudy skies start to build in around noon. And then this evening, these scattered showers and thunderstorms, a few of which may be a bit on the strong side, start to build in. They start to fall apart as they try and move southeast. It's not until late tonight before we see a few more of those scattered storms. They clear out tomorrow morning. We warm up quite nicely into the mid-90s, and then we have additional showers and thunderstorms that will develop across southeast Kansas. And a quick look at the 7-day forecast shows where we have those thunderstorm chances running through Saturday. They clear out by Sunday afternoon, and then August says hello by the middle of next week as temperatures push close to 100 degrees.
Definitely going to be hot next week.
It certainly will.
I'm enjoying my Sunday, that's for sure.
You certainly should.
I probably need to mow my yard.
At the rate we're getting rain now,
Yeah.
a yard mowing may be in order.
Yeah. Well, there are new starter words for players trying to solve the popular online guessing game Wordle. The New York Times made changes to the online Wordle assistant called WordleBot. WordleBot was introduced back in April to help analyze how the game was being played.
It now recommends different starting words. Now, WordleBot used to recommend the word crane on regular mode, but that's been changed to the word slate. On hard mode, it's been changed to least from the word dealt. This update is only available to all access subscribers or paying New York Times game users. Interesting. So the technology is ever evolving, even for games. Well, thanks so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We're back with more news and weather at noon.
Have a great morning and an even better weekend.